Welcome to Montgomery Today with Montgomery General Hospital. I'm your host, Greg Ingram, Mayor of Montgomery, and I'm honored today to have a good friend of mine, Senator Ron Stallings is here today, and we're going to talk a little bit about small towns and what we need to do in small towns to help small communities. But we decided to tape this one on site where we're tearing down buildings, we're cleaning up Montgomery, and we're going to make some things happen here. There's a lot of things that has to happen to get buildings, and Ron, thank you for coming tonight. And we are outside, so we'll probably get a train or two. But this is a beautiful time here.
Thank you, Mayor Ingram. It's an honor to be here as well. Again, well, let's hope we have some cold trains going by here in a little bit. And congratulations on your great efforts here to really dive into these dilapidated buildings. And man, I know you're well respected around the state, and Montgomery's on the move.
Well, I'll tell you, it takes more than me. It takes a whole team. And what I really wanted to focus a little bit on tonight is the team that we need in small communities. And I'm going to ask you a little bit later on about some things down in Logan, Chapmanville, some of the small towns that you deal with on a daily basis. And you know, this is not your first trip to Montgomery, and I know it won't be your last. But when we go into projects like the one here, this has taken 7 years to get to this point. A lot of red tape. You know, it took quite a while to get the property owners to give us the property, and then once we get the property, we have to go through a lot of processes like. You know, you have to go through the history people, you have to go through the Native American group, and you have to go through all kinds of grant processes. But to get there, you have to have all kinds of studies done, and Montgomery's on the move, and we're doing it. I keep an eye on Logan all the time. Mayor Naledi down there he's rocking too, and they're doing great things in Logan. But I just wondering, as far as the Senate, you know, we have a lot of challenges in small towns. And do you know of anything the Senate is doing to help the small towns? I know there's some matched dollars coming to match grants. And I was just wondering if those are targeted to small towns, or is it open to everybody?
Well, certainly what I've been disappointed in is the funding aspect of it. We've set up a few little situations where you can apply for these grants, you can go through the DEP, and we've worked on it, but we just really haven't had much in the way of funding or putting resources into it. We set up a mechanism, but we don't fund it. That said, I think we really do have to focus on some of this, because we have to get our towns ready for the next big deal. I mean, you know, we've our area, not only the Upper Kanawha Valley, but Boone and Logan counties, and we've been, you know, kind of totally dependent on coal.
We have,
and we had all our eggs in one basket, and we saw what happened with southern West Virginia coal production. It's gone down, and we weren't diversified enough, and that's come back to hurt us. And so, but again, we still need these towns ready for the economic growth and diversification that I think is coming here in the Southwest. Coal fields, whether it's from tourism or post-mine land use. I was able to get a tax credit if you locate your business on a post-mine land site, and get more money coming back to the county of origin. And again, a lot of this is, you know, what the answer's money. What's your question?
Right.
A lot of times.
Right.
A lot of times.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we've certainly jumped through all those hoops here to get to the stage we are here in this project. And I know that with the grant system, and you know, I was privileged to have Senator Capito on this show 2 weeks ago, and I asked her some of the questions that I'm asking you, because West Virginia, there are people moving in here. We've got people moving to Montgomery from New York, California. We've got the big towns are not the hit anymore. Seems like they're wanting a little more safety and security, cleanliness that we have here in our small towns in West Virginia. And I just hope that the Senate and the House and the West Virginia legislature and the governor continues to push for funding for small towns. We've got grant systems, but it seems like all the money goes to the big cities, and that's because of resources. We just don't have grant writers, and you know, there's so many different grant fundings, and they've got people for each one of those funds. Larger cities do. But can you tell me a little bit about what's going on down in Logan and down in Boone County? I see a lot of good things, and I know they're working hard down there.
Yeah, we're certainly utilizing, you know, I chaired the Corridor G Regional Economic Development Authority Board of Directors a long time ago. And, you know, we came up with a strategic plan that basically said, look, our main artery is US Route 119, Corridor G. Well, the main artery up through here is 60, and of course, the interstate 77 and 64. And then these post-mine land sites that give us some developable land. And then, so you get that, you focus then on your education or your workforce system. And you also have to have a good healthcare system to make the economy grow. And so I look at those areas of the economy, the healthcare of an area, and the education of an area. They're all tied together so much. And so we just really have to focus on those basic things of getting our workforce prepped up. And I know you guys are working hard on you've had such a hit with tech, you know, moving up to Beckley. And so what a resilient place you are, and Montgomery is. But again, let's get back to the basics of the education system, the healthcare system, and then that'll help the economy, because people want to locate in a place where you have that. And so, for example, Logan Regional Hospitals is booming. The Boone Memorial Hospital is a brand new critical access hospital. And so some of the school systems down there, Chapmanville Regional, for example, a lot of good things are going on. There's a program called the P20 program where if you have workforce needs, whatever those workforce needs are, you can start in middle school and then get in a career track. And then if you, when you graduate from high school, you will have already been taking these associate degree type classes from a college. And so you'll graduate from high school with a baccalaureate degree, and at the same time then you'll have an associate's degree in college. So you're ready for the workforce. So those workforce issues are pretty huge. And of course, you know, we've got a lot of warts in southern West Virginia. When we had the downturn of the economy, there's a loss of hope, a sense of helplessness, and so people, you know, went to drugs. And so we've got to get our arms around this substance use disorder. And again, we're focusing on those things finally. We're trying to destigmatize those people and get them back in the workforce.
You know, that was, I had a question there for you because, Senator, you're also a medical doctor, and I'd like to ask you about the opioid drug abuse and mental illness in small town West Virginia. There's a lot of money to treat these illnesses, so how can we ensure the dollars are spent in the proper ways, and what would be your suggestion to help assist in a solution?
Well, I had run for governor a couple of years ago, and I did have a plan for that. And basically, you have to shine a huge light on it, and you really have to have that Office of Drug Control Policy right there as a cabinet level position, so that you can have it coordinated. You'd have a place of accountability. So that, and then, you know, go after these federal grants and some of these settlement dollars. And again, to my knowledge, things need to be integrated into primary care. I'm a primary care doctor. I need to be trained up to the point where I can, one, I've always tried to prevent substance abuse by being, you know, stingy with opioids and stuff. But let me know more about recovery, integration into primary care, and it needs to be a community-based effort. We know from the quick response teams, we know from things that have gone on down in Huntington. Steve Williams down there, and that we've got some good examples of what to do and how to get people into recovery, into some decent housing, get them job trained up, and then get them back in the workforce. So we've got good examples, but we really need to focus on that, and we need to put forth a real effort. And there needs to be accountability, just like you said.
Absolutely, and we've got to do it the right way.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of dollars floating around out there for substance abuse and treatment centers, and I was so fortunate in Montgomery to land Fruits of Labor, and we have them here. We have Seed Sowers here. Very honorable, reputable places. Seed Sowers, they house the folks that are recovering, and those in Seed Sowers are expectant mothers or mothers that just delivered, and then they work at the restaurant, and they give back to the community through that way. But we've definitely got to do it right. The communities like Montgomery, we've got a structure, we've got ways to go out and get those, but there's a lot of small towns that are unincorporated, and they struggle with that, and they struggle with addiction, and they need our help too. So, I would look to the county, I would look to the legislature to try to help in those outlying areas. And like you said, I'm sure that Steve Williams has people from the outlying area coming into Huntington. But yeah, it's a real problem, and rural health care in West Virginia. We have Montgomery General Hospital here. They sponsor this program, and they do a great job here. We're expanding, or they're expanding, not me, but they're expanding their services, and they're going to do some mental health type services, and that'll be done right. So I'm looking forward to all that.
I think we're headed in the right direction, Mayor, and absolutely it has to be done right. We don't know exactly. We sometimes learn along the way, so these pilot programs where you try something, see if it works. If it does, great. If it doesn't, then you can shift gears a bit. But forever, it was a stigma, that we just wanted to put our head in the sand, pretend it doesn't exist because it happens so quickly. And now I think we realize that, look, these are people with substance use disorder. And the other thing is, as you all know, it's not so much the prescription drugs anymore.
No, it isn't.
We did things where we really lowered the number of prescription drugs. And of course, when we did, heroin and things happened, and fentanyl, and so we had more overdose deaths. So now it's methamphetamine. So
right.
It's like whack-a-mole, where you knock something down, something else pops up somewhere else. So we have to continue to work hard on this and focus on it.
Well, West Virginia certainly has our challenges from old buildings, and you said it very well. We've turned a blind eye for too long, and I think that the small communities, they're addressing this as best they can, and we've got our challenges in West Virginia. And then, as Mayor Cavalier had a bad flood in Smithers, and you throw a few floods in that, and it slows you down. But we didn't get here overnight, and it'll take us a while to get out of it. But I look forward to the challenge. I always look at anything that goes wrong it's an opportunity. Any challenge is an opportunity. So we're getting ready to wrap it up. Senator, is there any last few words you'd like to share with us?
Just that I love working with people like you and Mayor Serafino Noletti and Joel, Buddy Hudson. I mean, you guys work so hard. It makes me want to work harder. and again, we all have to cooperate in all branches of government, and from the top all the way down to the very basic level of government, which is here in the towns, and you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you, Senator. Thank you for driving all the way to Montgomery and coming up and spending a few minutes with us, and appreciate what you do every day at the State House. And I know you support Montgomery, and you'll support our efforts up here, and look forward to having you back. Don't be a stranger, come back a lot. And so we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with Montgomery Today in just a few minutes.
Montgomery General Hospital is proud to welcome pediatric providers Dr. Bradley Marple and physician assistant Shay Criswell. At Montgomery Pediatrics, providing world-class health care for your little ones is our goal, and keeping your family safe during these times is of the highest priority. New patients are being welcomed, and the entire pediatrics team invites you to come in and let us meet your children's needs. Experience the difference at Montgomery General Pediatrics.
Back to Montgomery today. In our first segment, we talked to Dr. Ron Stallings. Had a good conversation about what's going on in Montgomery. We're removing some eyesore buildings, and we've got plans to put up some new things in Montgomery. There's a lot happening here, and we're so glad to be here in the second segment with Amy Lopez Smith and Debbie Hill. Debbie Hill is CEO of Montgomery General Hospital. And Debbie's going to give us a little sneak peek at something exciting that's coming to Montgomery General. Debbie, I hear that you all have one of the best kept secrets around, and you're getting ready to take the curtain off of it.
We do. We have several of the best kept secrets. One of them sitting right beside you. And we are going to, Amy's going to talk a little bit about what she does there, but one of the things we want to talk about today is we have heard the community's request that they need to be able to seek health care after hours, and we have heard that request, and we're going to start that process this week. Today, actually, is the beginning. We'll be open till 8 o'clock on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Hopefully, if that goes well, we're going to actually expand that to more days. We have another provider coming on to help with that. And Amy can, when we get to her, she can tell you a little bit more about what they do in the clinic upstairs. But we're excited because this is the beginning of making sure we meet the community's needs, that you don't have to take a day off from work to come and see us. Something happens in a late afternoon and you don't want to wait till Monday morning or end up in the emergency room. We want you to be able to get health care. So that's the reason. And if this goes well, we have a lot of visions for actually making it easier to get to, better signage, lots of things related to that. We have some other things going on that are really important too. We have for those of you who are interested in entering the healthcare employment field, we are starting a certified nursing assistant class. This is required to work as a nursing assistant and test in the state of West Virginia. So if you have an interest in that, don't delay, but go ahead and call 304-442-2469. Again, that's 304-442-2469. And we will get your name on the list to be interviewed for a certified nursing assistant class. You'll have no trouble getting a job with that certificate, and full benefited job, as a matter of fact. So we're excited about that class starting. We can take up to 10 students in that class. And the other thing that's getting ready to unveil is the coffee shop. We still are working. We had some delays in our countertops coming in, but within the next couple of weeks we will be doing an unveiling and have some great tasting products available for the community, not just our patients and our staff, but we want the whole community to be welcome to step in the lobby and up the steps, and there's going to be a really nice coffee shop there.
Wow, we'll have a lined coffee shop.
Yes.
Your neighbor will be over.
Good. Good.
Dr. Stallings and I talked just briefly about mental health and the need throughout the state of West Virginia for mental health. And I was just wondering, does Montgomery General have future plans to offer something to the community, the residents, for mental health? And I know that maybe we don't have time to go into any detail, but I hope there's something coming down the pike.
Well, it's interesting that you brought that up, and Dr. Stallings is very much on the pulse of the state, because that is a major issue. During our first meeting of our community health needs assessment, that was the first topic that was brought up, is the need for mental health services. And as chance has it, we were approached the next day. Actually, they approached City Council first and then came to us looking for space. So there is a group from Charleston that already has established offices that wants to expand into Montgomery, and they will offer counseling services, for all different types of mental health and behavioral disorder services. We are hopeful. They've already started the rental contract. The space is being renovated, and we're hopeful they'll start services November the 1st. But we will have that out on our Facebook and things like that very soon so that you'll know how to call. They are not employees of Montgomery General, but they will have space in our building on the 2nd floor clinic space, and you'll be able to call and get an appointment or have a referral from your provider to seek that service.
Wow, that is so exciting. And,
It is, much needed.
You know, what's so exciting about Montgomery today, literally and figuratively, is that there's a lot going on.
Yes.
And just Montgomery General alone has so many things that they're expanding and doing. My gracious, it's just amazing to me. And this program is a really good vehicle to get that information out there. And so, Debbie, thank you so much for all that information and the sneak peek. And we'll have more information coming later on those expansions. As they materialize, we hope to do an on-site coffee shop grand opening, ribbon cutting. And we're going to go over on site and do that, so I'm looking forward to that.
Montgomery General Hospital is proud to welcome pediatric providers Dr. Bradley Marple and physician assistant Shay Criswell. At Montgomery Pediatrics, providing world-class health care for your little ones is our goal. And keeping your family safe during these times is of the highest priority. New patients are being welcomed, and the entire pediatrics team invites you to come in and let us meet your children's needs. Experience the difference at Montgomery General Pediatrics.
Welcome back to Montgomery Today with Montgomery General Hospital, and we're here with Amy Lopez-Smith. Amy, we'd like for you to tell everybody a little bit of your background. You're a nurse practitioner,
Yes.
and we'd like to have hear a little bit about your background in the medical field.
Okay, well, I did start my career here at Tech. I went to Tech, got my undergrad here. And then I did go to Charleston. I've been at a Charleston hospital for 20 plus years where I did mostly emergency medicine and trauma.
Wow. So now you're back in Montgomery, you're back home, and ready to settle in.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
Great. So what brought you back to Montgomery?
Well, as I said, I grew up here, and some of my family is still here. My dad is still here. He's a small business owner here. And so we're very close. And then I was actually approached probably about a year ago around this time about possibly coming to work at Montgomery, and it piqued my interest just due to growing up here. And I thought, what better place to give back to community, what I'm used to doing, what I love to do, which is to take care of people. So I thought I'll give it a try, and I haven't regretted it one day.
Good.
I've loved every bit of it. I've got to see a lot of familiar faces. I've got to catch up with a lot of people, and just to know I'm helping people that I know, people who are in my community, feels good to me.
So what are you actually doing now? My understanding is you're expanding. Working on expanding the hours?
Yes.
Is that just the third floor, or is that some other?
For now, it's just the third floor, correct?
Okay.
Yeah,
Debbie?
we're going to start with expanding the hours of the clinic on third floor for the adults. And then if that stays busy and things like that, we've talked to Dr. Marple, and he is toying with the idea that maybe the same would hold true for the pediatric clinic to some extent. But right now, we want to make sure that we don't want folks to have to drive to Charleston to a express type facility for some minor issue if we can take care of it after work for them. And we want to keep care in the community. The bottom line is Suite 301 through Amy, and we have Erica, Dr. Hawkins, Dr. Atasi up there, and we have a new provider joining us. They provide primary care to our community, and we want to encourage folks to keep their primary care at home. And we're going to make it as convenient and accessible as possible to do that. Now, Amy takes appointments. All the days she's here, she takes appointments, and we're even encouraging those who want the late hours to make an appointment, but we are not discouraging walk-ins. You may have to wait if you walk in because obviously there's booked appointments, but we will take walk-ins. But if at all possible, if you can call and say, hey, do you have something at 6:15 or 5:15 or whatever, we will do our very best to accommodate you and get your needs taken care of.
So if you have, if it's 6:30 in the evening and I want to see a doctor for something that's not an emergency, is there a phone number we call? Do we just call the hospital number? Or, as you said, I guess you could just walk in. But how do the people make a contact phone number that may not live right here in Montgomery, that may live quite a ways away and want to call and say, hey, how busy are you this evening? If I drive down there, it takes me a half hour to get there, can you see me? Who would they contact? Would that be you?
Our clinic, yeah.
That would be the clinic.
Just as our patients do for any business hour.
Okay. Okay.
And, you know, as of right now, the patients need to be established in our practice.
Right.
Once they're established, and I tell all my patients this, once we do their initial establishment, then they can call us anytime they need anything. Okay. Anytime they're not feeling well. Even our after hours, we'll have radiology available, we'll have laboratories available. So our after hours testing will be just the same as before our previous hours.
Okay. So what kind of patients do you see?
Well, we're family practice, so we do a lot of chronic illness that we take care of. But we also do acute care, as we have just spoke. So if there's a patient who doesn't feel well and he or she is one of our patients, then we will see them for their acute complaint as well. But we also do physicals. We do work physicals. We do school physicals.
That will be a big plus there. You don't have to pull kids out of school to get a physical. You can go after hours or set up.
And college physicals. So pediatrics, you know, they'll probably do the 18 and below physicals, but any college, we actually get a lot of college nursing students wanting to come and get their physicals done as well.
Okay, so just for the people watching, if I'm not a patient in Montgomery General Hospital, you'd mentioned established patients. What if I'm not and I need to see a doctor?
They can call the hospital's main number and you'll get transferred into Suite 301 is what we call our clinic. It is a rural health clinic, and the initial appointment takes a little longer because the providers need a really good assessment. They need a lot of history from you. So Amy's right, you know, to call and say, hey, I've never seen you before, but I'd like to come in this evening, is not going to be the best thing for you or them. We're going to ask that if you're a new patient, that you call, you get established, so we have some records, background, your medication history, and then at that point in time, anytime we're open, we'll do our very best to get you worked in.
Welcome back to Montgomery Today. We're going to talk a little bit about some exciting things going on around Montgomery. The Upper Kanawha Valley, Montgomery General Hospital, there are just so many things that everyone's working on, a lot of different projects. But Debbie, again, and I know we talked about this earlier, but you have a coffee shop coming. What kind of things are going to be there? I've already had a sample of some of it at the Fall Festival, and it's delicious. But pastries?
We have traditional coffee drinks, regular coffee, frappuccinos, lattes. We have pastries. We're going to have some kid-friendly things since the folks walk right by there on their way to the pediatric office. So we're going to have all kinds of things in there. And then what's popular stays. You know, we'll change it out as time goes on for what the public wants.
So you have like pumpkin cake for trick or treat?
We'll work on that. I'm sure we'll work on that. Make sure we have pumpkin cake.
And the gift shop still across the hall?
The gift shop is there. The volunteers run that. They're only there a couple days a week, but it is still there, yes.
Right. So, and we're having a senior fair on the 2nd of November?
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. We're getting great interest from folks that they're going to give you information about senior services. Everything from a travel agent that will help you plan your next Bahamas trip to, we actually have Van Dyson Law Firm out of Charleston that is committed to come and actually do a 40-minute segment on estate planning, which no one realizes how important that is until you need it. You can't wait till you need it to do it. So that will be a educational session that will be classroom style. I think we're going to have bingo games. It's going to be a lot of fun. You'll see a lot of flyers. We have door prizes, so we encourage folks to come out and participate in that and get some really good information.
So trunk or treat, let's talk real quick about trunk or treat. That's going to be on
Yes.
the 27th.
In the past, the hospital wasn't terribly involved, but the agency that used to do that could not do that this year. So I spoke with Brandy at City National Bank, and they agreed to partner with us, as did the City of Montgomery. So we're going to do trick or treat on October the 27th from 5 to 7 p.m. in City National's lot. We have vendor forms out to all the community businesses to try to get participation, and then the community children are welcome to dress up, come out. We're going to have prizes for costumes, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do some prizes so that people really decorate their cars and do some cute stuff.
I've seen some funny stuff on those too. And the last thing that we want to make sure everybody remembers, we have a Christmas parade coming up on December the 2nd. And that's on a Friday. It's at 7 p.m. We're going to have Santa Claus, and we're working on some other exciting stuff at the community center during the time with Santa Claus. So stay tuned for that. We'll be making that announcement as the weeks progress. So it's been a great program. Debbie, and this is just amazing of everything you all have going on over there, and I'm tickled to death that it's happening right here in Montgomery, of course, and the residents. So with that being said, we wish everybody a good day, and please come back and tune in next week for the next version of Montgomery Today, Montgomery General Hospital.